Hey guys, so it's been about a week since you and I were in this room celebrating your 8th grade promotion. So what's changed in a week? I want to know what's going on. What's new with you guys? Anything exciting? Do you feel different? Do you feel anxious for what's to come? How are you? How are you doing? Well, I know you can't instantly respond back to me. That's not how this thing works. But what I would like to do is I would love to go over my speech with you guys again. I would love to have this recorded for you so that you guys can reflect back on it. It's kind of one of those things that when the commencement speech is presented to the group, you all are kind of a little nervous. You still have to go up and get your diplomas. You wonder how you did with your final GPAs, the honor roll certificates, and all that good stuff. So I know that while you were listening, I could tell you were paying attention. So I'm not commenting on that. But there is a lot of other stuff kind of going on in your guys' minds. And so I thought that I would just sit down 1 week later and re-record it for you guys so that you guys could maybe listen with fresh ears, older ears, and with less stressful ears. So I want you to hear what it says. It's important for me to hear it again, even where I am in my life, yes, 100 years older than you guys. And it's important for you guys to take with you too. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna start right from the top, my friends. So I'm gonna look down a few times, but remember, I am right here with you because I mean all of these words. Even though I already gave it once and I wrote it like 2 weeks ago, it's still the truth today. Let's get started. So hello, Alex and Andrew, Hudson and Shelley, David, Ariane, Natalie, Daniel, Christian, James, Walker, Jasmine, Kirsten, Nolan, Sophia, Amanda, Priscilla, Tyler, Caleb, Blake, Dalton, and Shane. Hello also, if you show this to your parents, to everyone who loves you, everyone who you're going to send this link to. I greet you all also. I am Laura Nelson, the Director of Children and Youth Ministry at Trinity Lutheran Church and School, and this last year, the 2016-2017 year, was my first full year here at Trinity. And so that makes you 8th graders very, very special to me. You guys have a very special place in my heart, and you always will. You were my first. Back on August 8th, I don't think any of us knew what we were getting ourselves into. I arrived for work about the same time that your parents and your schoolmates' parents were dropping you off for school. I saw you, I was happy to see you, but I had every intention of crossing paths with you because you were going to the gate and I was going into my building, smiling of course, but definitely crossing paths, going inside and getting to work. I had things to do. But the moment I walked in the door and it closed behind me, I knew I was in the wrong spot. I needed to be at that back gate with you, greeting you and seeing how you were doing. It felt weird to be inside when I knew you were outside. It is no small thing to me that you came to Trinity. It is no small thing to me that he brought me to Trinity. It is no small thing that he worked all things so that we could be here together. He worked individually, intentionally, and actively through our lives, through your parents, through my parents, through all kinds of different situations and scenarios to bring us here together. And I have loved getting to know you. What you like, what you love, and what you really don't like, not even a little bit, not even at all. But will tolerate because the bubbly dork by the back gate is exactly the person that your parents and teachers told you to be kind to because, well, we don't mean any harm. Things like giving you extra long hugs and heart hands, going to your sporting events and supporting you, making an extra big deal about your birthday, and bringing everyone's attention in on something awesome about you. I'll let you guys decide which of those you like, love, and just barely tolerate. If Mrs. Bosma, Mrs. Roloff, any of your other teachers or specials instructors, if they were leaving this message for you right now, they would have very different things to say because they got to see you for a lot longer span of time throughout your days and weeks. So what could I possibly learn from you just by greeting you in the morning, high-fiving you at the back gate, seeing you at your sporting events and here on Trinity's campus and at various youth activities throughout this past year? Well, I know that Alex is bold. I don't know how long he had been going here to Trinity before we had our Chinese gymnast event in the gym. But when they called for someone to come down and perform the stunt, he raised his hand. He was called on. He went down and performed the stunt as though he was in front of all of his longtime friends. That is bold. And so it is my sincere prayer that God hijacks that boldness for his glory and his kingdom. Andrew and Hudson. Now, these two are hilarious together and separate. Now, in my line of work, I know that when they are together, I've got my eagle eyes on them because they're probably up to something that's a little bit sketchy. However, there is also something really amazing about these two. If you give them a task, they will complete that task. They will do what you ask them to do. And now Shelly, oh my goodness, how I love Shelly and her grandma. They both have my heart hook, line, and sinker. There are some happy mornings where her smile eclipses my own. And then there are other days where that smile is put on just long enough so that I don't worry. I get that. It's okay. I want you to know that I love you. I support you. I am in your corner, my friend. David and Ariane. Okay, with these two, I have yet to give them a non-awkward side hug. We just can't seem to do it. We cannot accomplish this task. So either we are going to have to spend a lot more time together so that we can get this figured out, or we're just going to have to resort to elbows because we just fail at this. We are no good. Now, James. One morning I told James that my very favorite Bible study, or I should say one of my very favorite Bible studies, they're all my favorite, but one of my very favorite Bible studies was on the book of James. And that James is a really hard book of the Bible because it is tough to get into. It is tough to stick with because of the topics that you go over. Oh, but my goodness, it blesses you to study the book of James. Well, James, you are no different. That wall is a little hard to get through. It's a little hard to want to stick with. But oh, it has been so worth it. And I know and I joy in the fact that I've only scratched the surface. I really hope that I have the opportunity to get to know you better, James. I really do. Christian. Christian never, ever, 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 ever came to school fully dressed. Okay, but it's not what you think. No, this young man, okay, so he came to school, getting out of his car, pulling down his shirt, threading his belt through the belt loops, or slipping into his shoes as he was walking in to Mrs. Bosma's door. Oh, I don't know, maybe the future will be different for him. Maybe it'll be exactly the same. Regardless, I sure do love you, Christian. Jasmine, okay, at her confirmation, when her full name was read, her nickname wrote itself. Jazzy Joy is now her official senior youth nickname, and our senior youthers had such a blast coming up with that for you because it's awesome. And now for Kirsten Lovely Larkin. As you can tell, we do not have to come up with anything for her because her name is already so perfect as is. We can't wait to greet you. And by we, I mean the senior youth. We're so looking forward to being part of our group. And now Walker and Nolan, they are perfect bookends for my mornings. Walker is always going to be one of the first at the back gate, and Nolan, he's always going to be one of the last. And a person needs to have constant things in their life, things they can count on. So I appreciate you too. Something else about Walker is that he too has a nickname, and it's a wonderful nickname. But because I know him, like I know many of you, I know that he would want me to keep that to myself. And as for Nolan, the Lord really protected me with Nolan because He forgot to give me his hockey schedule last season, and that was a really good thing because it saved me from the temptation of lying about how much I love hockey. However, it has now been brought to my attention that a new hockey season has started and that he does need to give me his schedule. So while no, I'm not gonna lie and say how much I love hockey, I will say how much I love Nolan and how eager I am to go to your hockey matches or games or whatever they are. So send me your schedule, okay? Thank you. And now for Priscilla. This young woman gave me awesome perspective on a few topics, and I am so thankful that God crossed our paths, that he gave her the confidence and the trusting vulnerability to share her heart with me. She really taught me a lot this last year. Tyler is part sloth. That's just a fact. So it's a good thing that sloths are ultra trendy right now. Okay, and now for Blake and Daniel. Okay, time out today, just like I did a week ago, but time out. I want you guys to find a way to think about how you're going to set aside time to pray for your classmates. Think about who you were sitting next to. Think about who you heard speak. Think about who you shared all these amazing experiences with for the last year, for some of you for the last several years, for some others of you for the last several years. Think of ways that you can set aside time to pray for your classmates. Also pray for yourself because you will be tempted in ways that you can't even imagine right now. So also pray for yourself, but pray for your classmates. So now back to Blake and Daniel. I ask that you guys pray for these two. God is going to do something big in them. We can see this, can't we? You can see this as their classmates, and I can see this as someone who's just on the outside looking in. Pray for them. God has big things in store, and we want God to protect and defend them from the evil one. Pray for them. Caleb and Dalton. For myself, I know that if we ever run out of food in the stores or anywhere else, I'm looking for those two because I know that they will hunt me up some grub. So that is what I know about those two. They like to hunt, they are skilled at it, and they will come back with something. Speaking of which, maybe that would be a good senior youth event, a good senior youth trip is to do some hunting maybe? I don't know. Something to think about. I don't think they'd ever let us. And now on to Shane. Okay, Shane, I did it. I told Pastor about your little problem, that you are a thief. You are incredible at baseball, my friend. Your talent at stealing bases and your fearlessness is awesome. It was so much fun to watch you in your games. And I look forward to next season, so don't forget to get me your schedule, okay, friends? And now for Natalie, Sophia, and Amanda. Yeah, according to Proverbs 10:19, you are the wisest women I have ever met. Proverbs 10:19 tells us how a wise person speaks very few words, and a foolish person speaks a lot. So that's all the more that I want to think about Proverbs 10:19 for the time being, because I have a few more things that I want to say. I have one last pop quiz for Trinity's 2016-2017 8th grade class. It's only one question. Here we go. Are you ready? What do you need to survive in life? Now, I know at first you're thinking very logical things like food, water, shelter, Dutch bros, you know, the basics, but you're going to be missing a few essentials. Here's the cheat sheet. Are you ready? Here, I'll slide you a little note. It's only 3 words: faith, hope, and love. So let's start with faith. Where do you put your faith? In yourself? In your talents and abilities? Or do you put it in the one who came to save us by his perfect life, death, and resurrection? Who totally annihilated the power that sin, death, and the devil had over us? The one who sticks closer than a brother. The one who protects and defends you. The one who has plans to prosper you and give you a hope. And now, speaking of hope, where do you put your hope? Who or what do you turn to when the junk of life starts to stack up? Do you look to your friends? Do you look to class rank? Because obviously, the higher in class rank, the more money you'll make eventually. And we all know that money buys happiness, right? Or do you put your hope in the Lord and eternal things? Things like that He has not left us or forsaken us, that we are who He says we are, that He is always with us even while preparing a home for us in heaven, and that He is coming for us because He loves us and He wants to be with us. Finally, guys, my least favorite topic, love. Just kidding. The Bible says a lot about love, and Jesus boils it down to this: love God and love others. It's not as complicated as we try to make it. In this world, you are God's hands and feet. You get to be the one who tells the world about the only perfect love, the perfect love that casts out fear. Faith, hope, and love. You see, when you have those three, even in the darkest times, there is still light you can cling to and light you can share. Faith, hope, and love. Let those be the markers that people know you by as you go through new gates next year in high school. And as you go from here, guys, never forget that God is with you and God is for you. So who could be against you? I love you, my friends, and I will miss seeing you outside the back gate every morning next year. I will miss that very, very much. Seeing how you're doing, checking in on you, finding out how your previous night went, how the game went, how your test went, if I can pray for you for anything. But you have my information. You know where I am on Sunday mornings and where I'll be all summer long. I love you. Don't be strangers.